Hey everybody! A while back I put up a video about the old Southern Pacific Depot at Baker and Sumner getting a reprieve, that Union Pacific was going to invest some money in refurbishing it because of issues they were having with the contractors at the office that is being built to replace it a little ways to the east. I guess once the contractors realized that UP was serious about not paying them what they wanted to get and that they were going to spend that money instead on the depot, they changed their tune and made a deal, got everything squared away. So the new building is going to be occupied probably sometime this year. The Kern County Historical Society has been in contact with Union Pacific, and it is my understanding, talking to the manager of terminal operations down there, that Union Pacific has agreed to give the Historical Society some time to try to figure out something to do with the depot. That's a tall order. It's one thing to want a building like that to be preserved, and I think it should be preserved. I hope it is. It's quite another to organize that, to do fundraising and get the money put together to do it, because it's going to cost a lot of money. I can't imagine it would cost less than $1 million to do what needs to be done to that building or those buildings. I mean, it's kind of looks like one big building, but it's really not. It's really two buildings, three if you count the old REA building. I don't know if that would be part of that or not. Probably not, but in any case, it would be a very costly endeavor. And I hate to say it, I love Bakersfield. I really like living here. It's always been a good place for me. I mean, I grew up in Tehachapi, but I've lived here for a long time now, and I like it. And I don't like talking bad about my town, but historically, the people of Bakersfield have not been very good about funding historical projects. I know that they got Merle Haggard's old boxcar house moved over to the Kern County Museum at Pioneer Village, and that people donated time, and T&T Crane donated equipment, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah, but not much money was actually put up to do that. We're talking about restoring a building that's 150 years old. It's huge. I don't know what the square footage of that building is. It's big. Two buildings, 2 stories, and a lot of old electrical, plumbing. The masonry, the work is just the brickwork. There's a lot of that needs to be fixed. The stucco would probably have to be pulled off of all of it and everything inspected. It has no dual pane windows and no heating in the west building, the building I was in. And it's got little baseboard heaters and stuff. That's not going to keep people warm. It never kept me warm, and I don't get cold very easily. But moving it, a lot of people say, oh, move it to Pioneer Village. There's 2 problems with that. First is that I don't believe that there's room at Pioneer Village to put a building that size. That lot up front, maybe, but I don't know how keen on moving something that size over there would be to the Kern County Museum. That would take up a lot of space for other exhibits they might want to bring in later on. It would just be impossible. From the standpoint, it is a brick building. It would have to be disassembled brick by brick, moved across town, and reassembled brick by brick, and I just don't think there are enough skilled masons, especially right here in Bakersfield anymore, to do that. You'd have to get those guys to donate their time. You can pay them something, I don't know. A boatload of money would have to be raised to do that, and I just don't think it's possible. And then once you got it over there, you'd have to redo the interior. You'd have wiring, plumbing. Well, you wouldn't need plumbing because it wouldn't be a functioning building. which is another thing. If they did move it over there, would we be able to go inside it? Most of the buildings at Pioneer Village, you can go inside them, but they just usually have a hallway with glass that you can walk through the hall and look into the rooms and things like that. And I don't know. People say maybe we could make it a museum in place. I don't think that's feasible either, for the same reasons. It would just cost too much to restore the building and bring it up to code for public occupation. Right now, it's a private building. It is an unreinforced brick building. That means that it doesn't have anything holding it up. It's just bricks. I'm amazed that it survived the 52 earthquake, but it might not survive the next one. But when they redid the ice house, they had to put a lot of reinforcing framework inside that building, and that's what they would have to do at the depot. Make it restaurants, make it something, this, that, or the other. Same thing. It's going to cost a lot of money, and entrepreneurs are certainly not going to want to put up that kind of money to bring that depot up to code, and then they'd have to completely restructure the inside of it to get what they wanted out of it. I just don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of money and work involved in doing it, and I just don't think that it's going to happen. I think the depot is going to either fall to the homeless people and be burned down and ruined by them, or Union Pacific is going to tear it down, because they won't leave it there. And they won't wait forever for the Historical Society to do something with it. That's what happened with the Mojave Depot. The Historical Society got involved, and Southern Pacific said, well, we'll give you some time to figure something out, and nobody wanted to raise the money. And Mojave's a lot different. It's a small town, and there weren't, if you live in Bakersfield, you don't care what's going on in Mojave. You live in Mojave, you don't really care what's going on in Bakersfield. But SP gave them a while, and then told them, okay, we have to do something, and they tried to get an injunction to keep it from being torn down. And while they were going through that process, SP went in there with bulldozers and knocked the whole damn thing down in about 2 hours. So I have a feeling that in the end, that is probably what's going to happen with this depot. And even if UP would have put some money into it to refurbish it, eventually they would have moved operations down to the new building. That building would have been finished at some time. They're not just going to leave it sitting there. They would have got things worked out. And then again, even though they had sunk money into it, it wouldn't matter. They would have to keep sinking money into it to keep it, and it's going to merge right into the road. We're already headed down with the historic aspect or with the business aspect. And sadly, I just don't think that building's going to survive. So anyway, sorry to break that news. I know some people already know it, but I thought I'd put that out here. I've been meaning to do this video for a while. I've just gotten tied up doing other things. So anyway, hate to be the bearer of bad news. It looks like that's the way it's going to be. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to be notified of future content, as always. Click the bell, and I hope everybody's still doing okay through this coronavirus thing, and doing your part to stay safe, and I hope everyone is doing well. I'll see you all later.